When we last met, Australia was in the middle of a catastrophic 10-year drought, and you spoke about the coming famine. Has anything changed?
No, not really. We're still running out of soil, water, fuel, we're running out of fertiliser, we're running out of fish, we're running out of stable climates, and we're running out of technology. All of those things are bearing down on agriculture worldwide. But my message here today is that there are fabulous opportunities if we can but start to focus on them when we start to correct those problems.
Where are the main areas that we can improve our performance in terms of catering for the future?
Well, I think that Australia is going to have an aquaculture industry in future that is bigger than all its current livestock industries put together. I think that our farmers will be growing the oil that drives our trucks and our trains and our aeroplanes in future as algae farmers. I think that there are huge opportunities in new plants and vegetables, especially Australian native plants. There's 6,100 edible Australian plants, and we're only farming about 5 of them at the moment. So, boundless opportunities for new foods and new industries. So those are the kinds of opportunities that I think we should be exploring.
So when you say we should be exploring them, what on earth is going to drive us forward to find these solutions for the challenges that you're outlining?
There's been a big hike in global food prices in 2008. There was another one in 2010-11. Those are indicating that the world food supply is becoming less secure, more uncertain. When there are droughts overseas around the place, food prices jag up. Consumers get hit in the supermarket. All consumers get hit nowadays. And as we experience more of those food shocks, I think the outcry is going to come from consumers through governments to do something about it. Last year we saw 2 governments fall in Egypt and Tunisia over riots that began as food price protests. So this is starting to be a real sharp end issue for the world's politicians, not just the world's farmers.
Tim Flannery has been reported by the far right as having made predictions a decade ago that are clearly not occurring today. Can we talk about the tipping point then for water, I think from your book, energy and fertiliser? What stage are we at in terms of that kind of doomsday scenario?
Well, regions around the world, such as the North China Plain, the Indo-Gangetic Plain, the Midwest of America, North Africa and the Middle East are already critically short of water. We are going to see major water crises in those regions in the 2030s by about that sort of time frame. And those are going to, because we've got globalised food prices now, they're going to affect everybody. They're not just going to affect the people living in those regions. So if there is a major grain shortage in India, it will affect the price of bread for everyone. So that's when people are going to start to wake up to the fact that we need to do something to sustain and reinvent agriculture worldwide.
I was taken by the argument about people made during the drought about the water footprint of food, and magazines like The New Scientist spoke about how many litres of water it took to grow 10 coffee beans or a McDonald's burger. When you think about that argument and you think about that wonderful phenomenon known as the water cycle globally, which doesn't recognise trade borders, isn't that a furphy in terms of your whole argument that because Tunisia this year might be running out of water, it's never going to rain there again?
No, it's not, because half the world's food is currently produced on irrigation, not from rainfall, okay? And in future, it's going to be 2/3 of the world's food will be produced from irrigation. And right now, you've got big gas companies, big coal companies, big mineral processing companies, and big cities all robbing irrigation water from farmers. Doesn't matter where you look. You can look at Shanghai in China. You can look at Mumbai in India. You can look in Australia in the Murray-Darling Basin, where Melbourne is sucking water out of the Murray-Darling Basin, and farmers can't get enough water. So everywhere in the world there is this huge competition arising for the farmers' water, and farmers are losing the argument universally. That's the thing we've got to worry about. It is true that food does have a high water footprint. The bit we need to worry about is the irrigation bit. I mean, the rainfall will keep on falling, we hope.
Just finally, Jillian Cribb, at the ABARES Outlook Conference, the new chief executive of ABARES predicted that we being the world, would be able to feed 9 billion people, according to his modelling, by 2050. I mean, does that give you room for hope in terms of the future and our capacity to actually deliver?
Not at the rate we're losing soil. I mean, we're losing 100 million tonnes of soil every single year. So our current farming systems are not sustainable. He's assuming there's an infinite supply of soil, an infinite supply of water, and so on. And that is not the case any longer. Same with fertiliser, same with oil. These are the constraints. If we can reinvent a new energy source for agriculture, new nutrient sources for agriculture, systems that don't destroy the soil base and so on, if we can do that, yes, of course we can feed those people. I'm very optimistic that farmers and scientists can feed the world. I'm not so optimistic that governments see this as a priority or enough of a priority to bring it about.
Thank you very much. I got you going. That was a